Okay, so for the first time since 2002, I don't have a beard. This mostly responds to the closing of barbershops as part of what I call the virus crisis. Like this one here in Katona, New York, where I'm a regular customer, or I had been. Without a barber to clean me up, I pulled out my trusty beard trimmer so I could shorten my beard. The results were uneven, to say the least. So after 2 or 3 days of putting up with it, I pulled out my razor and I decided to go for the full Monty in the facial way of thinking about it. I shaved it off, and then I shared pictures on Instagram where friends of mine who had never seen me with a beard off said, "Hey, you look younger." So I thought that was kind of a compliment. My significant other, who's taping this, I'm figuring she's going to get people on Instagram and elsewhere saying, "Hey, who's that hot guy you go with on Instagram now? He looks a lot younger than that other old guy you were with." So going beardless, at least for a while, kind of just carries on a tradition of behavior I've had for a long, long time. After 18 years with a beard, to go without it is really just a form of facial rejuvenation. I may be bald on top, but for a long time I have been able to kind of vary my appearance with my facial hair for different moods. So when I was in high school, I had these like long trucker sideburns, and I had a Fu Manchu mustache, which I thought was very cool, at least back in 1974. So on a weeks-long trip to a Boy Scout camp in Philmont, Boy Scout Ranch in New Mexico, that was the first time I grew a beard. I came back from 2 or 3 weeks in the mountains looking very scraggly. As soon as I got home to Mission, Texas, I cut it off because I certainly wasn't going to start my start in junior high school, junior year in high school with a beard. That would not have flown. But the day after I graduated from high school, I decided I was going to grow a beard. So I stopped shaving the day after I graduated, and it grew, and it grew. So that by the time I was getting ready to go to college in late August, I was looking positively rabbinical, like really curly and long and kind of cool looking. But I decided to cut it off, and I flew off to Princeton in a leisure suit and with my pink and tender cheeks showing. So that's the pattern for years of behavior. I would grow it, and then I would cut it off, grow it and cut it off. A lot of times I did this just because I was bored. It actually took me a long time to figure out that a barber could trim it short and nice looking. So yeah, I've always been known as kind of a slow learner on what seems obvious to other people. But once I got the hang of going to a barber and having them trim my beard, then I started being able to maintain it for years at a time because I would just have it trimmed when I got too tired of it. The times I did cut it off, part of it was boredom, part of it was maybe for the employment market. But on the whole, I really liked what I looked like with a beard. It was kind of covered up my poochy chin, and also it just gave me kind of confidence, a little bit of just a look I liked, as long as I kept it neat looking. Now, of course, neat looking is the key thing, because, well, if I don't trim it, then I start looking like the Unabomber, if you remember who he looked like. So when I moved to Katona, I started coming to this Russian Jewish barbershop where they treat me very well, and they know exactly how I like it. And I always tell them, get it a little shorter, be aggressive, get it down to nothing, practically. So that's what they do. And I really like the guys here. They would, I love listening to their Russian banter. I could pick up some of the Russian words. And on my way out, I would always take a glance at the New York Daily News they would keep here. These days, I miss them. It was kind of a special thing for me. This is my neighborhood place where I go to. They gave me a glass of wine when I came in for my haircut on my birthday. But now I'm shorn for the time being. This may last another week, another 2 weeks. I may decide, okay, back to the beard look, my traditional look. So like everything else in these strange days, it may last, it may not. The matters of personal appearance, I feel, are kind of secondary to issues of medical care, caring for your loved ones, making those anxiety rack trips to the supermarket, waiting in line outside Trader Joe's. There are a lot of things that matter more than your bikini body, your beach body, and your bikini line. So at this point, that's kind of it from the streets of Katona. Like I tell my Russian barbers, "Do svidaniya, tovarish." I hope to see you on the other side of all this, and we can all meet again.